Innovate.
Welcome back to Starting Up with Virtue Zone. I'm joined by the Virtue Zone chairman, Neil Petch, alongside me. A dedicated follower of fashion is Mr. P. He is a man he's a natty dresser. Some of our listeners will get that phrase, that's for sure. He is a man who's always best turned out. Do you run out of clothes ever? Is laundry an issue for you?
I thought you were just going to go with the, accusing me of laundering angle, but no, you've complimented me as a natty dresser, so thank you very much.
It's all to do with compliments, my friend. That's what that's all about. But laundry an issue at all for you or not? No?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
As I told you, it's a frustrated issue because we have here an innovator who's made it work, and I didn't a few years ago. But I say that we learn more from our mistakes than our successes. So there's that, and then secondly, we've all destroyed a rather. Why is it always the expensive items
always
that
the
get
expensive
destroyed?
item, isn't it?
Yeah. Why is that?
It's always
Tom?
your favourite or expensive one, isn't it?
There we go.
These days, customers want a product or a service delivered ASAP. In fact, they want it yesterday. They want it an hour ago. So businesses have had to adapt to the demands. We now have 15-minute grocery delivery. You can order a taxi in seconds. And now we're joined by a man who promises to do your laundry in 24 hours or less. Founder and CEO of Laundryheap is Deyan Dimitrov. He joins us live in studio. Deyan, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. It's good to be here.
So let's talk history if we can. Laundryheap created in London, is that right?
Yeah, so we started in London about 9 years ago, but then we quickly expanded. So I think that's how we probably differ from many other businesses. We quickly expanded to other countries. And interestingly, Dubai was our second market. So I guess that's quite unique as well, that you go as a second market so far from where we started. And now we're in 12 markets. We just announced expanding to Saudi. We're in 5 countries here in the GCC. So yeah, we're getting bigger.
It's extra. I mean, often we get guests here and starting up with Virtue Zone from a variety of different industries, a variety of different backgrounds, etc. A lot of it might be, new industry. A lot of it might be a new idea. I mean, laundry you can date back to time immemorial. Since we started wearing loincloths, there's been laundry of some sort or other. So how do you stand out? How do you differentiate yourself from the competition?
Oh my God, yeah, I hear this so many times, and you're right. I mean, laundry was done by the Romans, right? Like everyone does their own laundry, and it's such a boring thing to do anyway. It's a boring business anyway as well, right? And I often get asked, what do you do? And when you say I work in a laundry company, I get that face. But actually, because it's so simple and it's such a large an industry, there is so much actually you can do there, especially using technology. So this is how we started. We saw an industry which hasn't changed for many, many years. Many of the businesses that are doing it, they've been around for 30, 40, 50 years. They're usually family-run businesses, and they haven't implemented technology. And obviously, technology has changed our lives so much in the last 10 to 15 years specifically. So there is a lot to be done to improve that process, to improve the speed, to open up the transparency to the customer, to make sure that the errors are minimized as much as possible.
So what are the classic mistakes that they're making then? If you see a laundry over there and you think, my God, I'd quite like to take that one over. And if you spot some mistakes so you can improve it, right? What are they?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, they're quite inefficient because they're, as I mentioned, it's a very fragmented market, these family-run businesses where the whole family is involved in the process, which means that there is not a lot of machinery. People are doing everything by hand. When there are so many human processes involved, it means that there are a lot of errors. I think all of us have this horror stories of sending things to the dry cleaners, and as you mentioned, why is always the most expensive item that gets damaged? Just because there is no standard process and everything is done by hand, and it's really open to errors. And then add the whole logistics on top of it, where so many things can happen, add the whole experience of how you place an order. So this is where Laundryheap comes in, where we manage the full process from the cleaning and the logistics and the technology, customer experience and so on. So we make it very transparent, very easy, very accessible for customers to place an order, see what's going on, and get it back without the hassle.
Another thing that happens, Tom, is you look for your favourite pair of trousers. They're no longer in your house. You got no idea where they are. Did I leave them when I was at the golf club last time, etc., etc.? And one of the classic ones is it's at the laundry, but you don't know how to find it. And so there's that black hole of missing trousers. So have you solved that? Because if you have, Tom and I, we're going to be
Sign us
over.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, if you have ever walked into a dry cleaning store and you see all these hangers around,
Yeah.
and before I started this business, I always thought, wow, these places are very busy. That's why they have so many items around. The truth actually is that all of these items are items that are left behind. So these are thousands and hundreds of
No
thousands
way.
of items that they just keep for many, many years, because either people haven't come to collect them, or maybe they were left behind. And again, it's just this human process that people have tried to obviously optimize, using the paper system, but still, with many of our dry cleaners that we work with, when we started working with them, they didn't have even a computer, many of them. And now we're introducing all these devices. There is a CCTV, there is AI tracking the orders. Everything is scanned. There is a QR tag that comes with each item, each bag. So we're basically eliminating all these errors. We're helping them with technology, transforming a very old industry to what it should be now, because the technology does exist. It just hasn't been applied to this industry because it's one of these kind of boring industries, but actually it's such a large problem that many people have.
And when you sort of talk about the automation of the process, I mean, are we talking about the process from start to finish, every element of that process?
No, I would say so. The biggest impact we have is really on the customer experience, because we want to make sure that people, first of all, people can easily place an order. You don't have to call anyone. You don't have to speak with them. It's just the same how, let's say, somebody like Karim transformed the taxi industry. That's what we're doing for laundry and dry cleaning. So that's number one. Number two is adding this transparency. Like, you never know how much it's going to cost you, where are your items, when are they coming back, are they going to be ready, and so on. If you want to change, you don't have to commit about being at home. So this is the second part that we're adding. And the third layer is really helping the existing dry cleaners that we work with. So we work with large third-party cleaning facilities across all of our markets. So these are already serious businesses. They already have much better processes than your local dry cleaning store, but we're still adding this layer of technology on top of that, which they haven't implemented in the past because it was not their core. But now that you have to do logistics as well, there is another group of things that you need to fix.
Automation, obviously, part of the process. Another of your key sort of tenets is over-communication. And a lot of people will go, hang on, text meant to take away the communication. So why are you over-communicating?
Well, it's over-communication if you want it, right? Like, people don't want to get a phone call every hour telling you how your laundry is or asking you a question about your laundry. But when you have an app, it's really, you're serving all of these customers. Is the same as, again, if I give the taxi example, when you're waiting for your driver, if you really want to see where the driver is, how long it's going to take, you open your app, you check it. So it's about this self-service. And we add this transparency also to your laundry. So you know when your driver is coming to collect, you know that your order is in cleaning, you know when your order is going to be delivered. And you have the power, which is really what we add, is you have the power to do all these changes. You can reschedule it for another day, for another time. You can place another order, you can add another item, you can change the service. It's not an easy one. It's not a straightforward. There could be some questions. People are sending us special items like a wedding dress or your kind of famous, like leather jacket, for example. So there's some items where we also need to ask your question. So it's just much more fluent experience that we provide.
We're in conversation with Deyan. Deyan's going to stick with us to answer a few more of your questions. Plus, we've got a couple of questions for the Virtue Zone chairman, Neil Petch, in his company clinic here today. So stay tuned for that. In fact, if you've got any questions for the team behind Laundryheap, or, of course, the team behind Virtue Zone, this is your last opportunity to get them in. You can text us now on 4001. You can WhatsApp on 04871 5500. Starting up with Virtue Zone with you through Thursdays 1 till 2.
Weather check.
With Air Arabia, explore amazing
3.8.
This is Starting Up with Virtue Zone. I'm joined each and every Thursday between the hours of 1 and 2 with the Virtue Zone chairman, Neil Petch. People send in questions for Neil, and we will get to those in just a few moments' time. People also sending in questions for our special guest this show. Deyan Dimitrov is the founder and the CEO of Laundryheap. A lot of people sending in their questions with regards to their laundry and their laundry needs as well. Dan, you mentioned earlier on, quite often laundries per se, there's this sort of tradition of family-owned business and keep it within the family, etc. Is it key to think global when you get into a business like this?
Well, it depends, obviously, what you want to do with your business. But I would say for me as an entrepreneur, and I see it very often with other entrepreneurs, for me, it's really key to think global. I mean, we live in this world where everything is so global. People travel all the time, and it's so much easier as well to open a global business. So sometimes I even get frustrated when I see entrepreneurs who think kind of too small or too local. And what it means to think global is, and why it's important to start thinking that way from day one, is because then you set up all your processes, even all your technology, to be able to scale and to launch to other countries and other markets. You just leave yourself this level of flexibility that you can kind of adapt your business to where it will go in a couple of years. And nobody knows that in the beginning, but at least it leaves that space. And what I've seen, and we have also done some mistakes like that, but what I've seen that when you focus on specific market, sometimes you just limit yourself too much. And then it's much harder to change even the mindset of your team and the technology. To add more currencies, to add more time zones, all of this, and in logistics and customer experience, it's really problematic. And
think big, think extra large.
I think big is. I mean, obviously that's a lot of people say that, but I think it's really valid, and it gets more valid every day. And technology is so accessible these days. So, what is your reason to not think bigger? Right?
Something absolutely cool for our listeners, Tom, which Deyan gave me actually off air, is the name of your company. So Alex was in earlier, and he was telling us that he brought in a naming consultant who spoke to the universe, and they brought names down for him. Deyan said something which so many of us have done, actually. When naming your company, it's all about finding the domain, finding the .com that actually is available. The problem with that is that sometimes you don't have the name that you want, and your name is something that, of course, your customers can bond with, your staff can bond with. I don't know about you, Tom, but actually for me, Laundryheap, it really creates a visual.
Yeah.
So it achieves something there. But perhaps that's something we should be talking to our listeners about, all the challenges and opportunities behind naming your business and what comes from that.
Do you have a challenge with it?
Yeah, I mean, so this was important from us in the beginning, that people hear what we do and they really get it. And I think as a business also, even describing to investors or describing to you and your listeners, I think it's just with one sentence you tell what you do. It's very obvious as a business, but also we wanted the name also to tell what we do. And I think it's important. And also I've seen a lot of times people get creative around this kind of naming. With misspells and all
devoweling and things like that.
I have a friend who has a business here, Skin Laundry. I thought that's quite cool. Clean your skin.
Right, questions flooding in. I've got less than a couple of minutes to get through these. So here's one for Neil. Hibber wants to know, could you tell us more about the family visa? Can anyone with a family apply for that? What's the difference between that and the golden visa, which allows me to sponsor my family?
Yeah, I think she's actually looking at, there's a new one. There's a blue visa. And this is, Skywards have taken us through the colours. And now there's a blue visa, which is anyone in the environmental sector. The golden visa, the rules are constantly evolving. I think Dubai has hit and the UAE has hit upon something that has really facilitated the brain gain in the UAE. We've got some brilliant people here as a result of this, and the world's talking about it now. And they keep changing the rules so that, for example, the property that you own, they've lowered the expectations and so on. So keep talking to, I don't know, a company that helps facilitate golden visas and green visas and blue visas. And definitely it's becoming more efficient for companies to enable people to sponsor their family under their golden visa. So if you're an employee out there, speak to your company about that, because perhaps you can change things.
We've also got questions coming through from Deyan. Probably the best way for us to wrap those up is to point them in the direction of Laundryheap. I mean, how do people reach out to you guys? How do they get in touch?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they can use our website, laundryheap.ae here in Dubai, laundryheap.com, like across 12 different markets. They can download our app on all the app stores, and they can simply place an order. I think that's the best way to test the service. You can place an order, a couple of minutes later, the driver comes to your home. 24 hours later, you're clean, well ironed, folded, or however you want them to through the door.
Sold on it, that's for sure. Deyan, can't thank you enough. Thanks so much indeed for all the best with the business expansion, all the best for the summer as well, and we'll definitely catch up again soon.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.
Big thanks to Deyan Dimitrov, founder and CEO of Laundryheap, for joining us live on Starting Up with Virtues. Mr. P, should we do it again next week?
I think we should have one big final blow before the summer comes. And Tom, you are ever classy. You're the only man on radio that's ever said laundries have existed since men had loincloths.
I will take that one to my...
A caveman with class.
Yeah, take that one to the airport today, I think. Looking forward to it. Yeah, we've got one more before a summer break, so more from Virtue Zone, Neil and myself next week. In the meantime, if you want to reach out to the Virtue Zone team, as Neil was saying earlier on, they are online. 24/7. Yep, you heard that one right. We didn't get it wrong. AI and tech, of course, informing decisions and advice there. So reach out to all things Virtue Zone. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.